my loves, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Hi, hello, my name is Loey. So I just read part of this insanely creepy article filled with a bunch of Ask Reddits where people describe their scariest texts and email, phone call, and physical letter stories. And I was specifically focusing on the physical letters, but I got so creeped out by the article, I thought I would read you guys a few more, especially these text message and like private message stories, because these are so intense, they scared the crap out of me, and I thought that you guys would get pretty creeped out too, and apparently I live to make you scared in the best way possible. By the way, I'm not wearing lip liner today. I only wore like a lip stain. I don't know if I like it. I'm wearing like different makeup. Like I didn't like outline my brows with the gods. I didn't overline my lips. It's like we're trying to be natural, but like I'm also wearing false lashes, so we're not trying to be that natural. Anyways, rambly intro aside, I love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning into this video. Let's get right into these terrifying text and private message stories. At about 11 p.m., a family friend texts me this, as accurately as I can remember. Look, I thought I could do it. I can't. It's been 6 months since it happened and nobody even cares anymore. He's just a kid. I don't want to be any further involved. Ask someone else. About 30 seconds later. Oh, sorry. That was a mistake. I meant to send that to my brother. We're just messing around. Horribly convenient that it's just a mistake and you were just messing around. It'd be very interesting to know exactly what it was that they were talking about. This next one is truly just like chilling. This happened when I was around 16 or 17. I was on a bus and in my school's sport uniform. Then I got a text from an unsaved number asking, "Are you not cold in those thin clothes?" It was a chill morning. I really appreciate the fact, by the way, that I just got a Snapchat notification from my Toontown squad. Yeah, they're on. Add me on Toontown. My name is Fat Nutty Nutty Noodle. And add London too. Her name is Quackers. We're two really thick ducks. I'm pink and she's purple. We're thicky queens. Anyways, so I looked around inside the bus immediately and got another text. Stop looking. You're not going to find me. Ugh. Definitely weird, and I would be interested to know if she ever figured out who they were. On Tinder, someone less than a kilometer away, whilst I was still living away from home and walking a lot from the library to my house alone. I've got a knife and something else, and one of them is going inside you tonight. Ew. 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 One of my neighbors messaged me asking if I had recently been on the elevator because he could smell it. Said I was clearly very fertile and it triggered his male senses. There's like 60 apartments in my building, but he was right. Creeped me out. Ew, why are there two super gross ones back to back? I could have read this one in my letter video, but I completely skipped over it, hoping it was just someone messing with me. Note dropped in my locker in 10th grade with a pretty simple, quite creepy poem. It read, "Roses are red, violets are blue. If you're ever alone, I'm always watching you." I really hope it was someone messing with you too. I got a text from the wrong number, and all it said was, "He won't be bothering you anymore. I took care of it." See, I'm so sick. I would just like sit there and like text back and forth with the person and try to figure out like what they were talking about, even though that would probably be a terrible idea. I'm just so nosy. I have to know. But then also, you know, like report it to the police and stuff and do the responsible thing. But oh my gosh, what was it that he took care of? That's so weird. Last year, I was idly wasting my time away on my afternoon when I got a message notification on Facebook. I opened it up and it was a 20-year-old guy saying, "Are you," insert my legal name here. No one really knows my full name, so I figured this kid knew me. I opened up his page and he lives halfway across the states from me. We have no mutual friends. And as far as I can tell, we have no way we would ever meet. I respond, "Yeah," to which he responds, "I am going to effing murder you." I am 27 years old and not terribly paranoid, but this shook me to my very core. As far as I know, I still have him blocked on Messenger. I would have deleted my whole freaking account. That is weird, especially when you're using like an alias online and stuff. And if you're like 27, like if you're an adult, like it's not kids messing around. That's really uncomfortable. Ew. A random number sent me a long text in which he argued that I shouldn't be messing with truck drivers for cheap money, while I can hook up with him and his friends for much more money. I replied that I'm a guy and he probably has the wrong number, to which he replied he knew who I am and gave me my university dorm address. I blocked him instantly, but it creeped me out so much then. It may be a prank, but it didn't sound like one, and I was an international student there, so I didn't really have the kind of friends who would prank me like this. Ugh, it's just so weird. How do like people find out stuff like that? So freaking creepy. A guy was writing me on Grindr. I wasn't interested, so I said I wasn't interested. He keeps persisting that we meet tonight. I was like, whatever, stopped responding. Then he said he would take his car to come find me. When I refreshed the app, I saw the distance drop from 3,000 meters to 200 meters. He was like, I'm close now. Then I blocked him, turned off all the lights in my apartment. I live on the first floor. Now I'm careful to have distance showing on dating apps. That's like wildly uncomfortable. Why do people leave like distance on like those kinds of apps? Like it's the same thing with like the Snapchat thing where you can have yourself on the map. Like that scares the absolute crap out of me, you know? This one is a voicemail and it's really sad, but it's also so creepy. My friend died in February of 2008. 2 weeks after his funeral, I had a voicemail, but no missed call. I listened to it and it was my friend who had just passed. His message said, hey, call me back, biatch, let's hang. Creeped me out. Called the phone company and the only explanation they could give me was that his phone must have died in the middle of his voicemail sending and it must have finished when his family charged his phone and turned it back on. Still creeps me out to this day. That is an absolutely terrifying voicemail to receive. Oh my gosh. To get a voicemail from your friend who had passed away, like to literally get a voicemail from the dead. That's so sad and so scary and heartbreaking, and what a horrible thing to endure after losing someone you love so much. This one isn't a text, nor is it a call, just a very scary encounter. A few years ago, I was still in high school. I had finished class and got off the bus in the city and began walking home. About halfway, this random lady out of nowhere stopped me and said, you will lose your first 2 seeds to the earth. I brushed it off and thought nothing of it. And never again did I see this woman or even think of it again. Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago. I miscarried my first pregnancy and they were twins. Ugh, that one gives me chills in the worst way. Why? Why would someone just say that to you? There has to be like a nicer way to deliver that message, you know, than to say it like that or give a better warning. That's so creepy. This one's another phone call. My mom got a call at about 2 a.m. one morning. The man on the phone said, Mrs. Blank, we've just arrested your son. He's sick and he's going to pay. We have sent people to your other son's apartment now. Don't expect to ever see them again. They will pay for their crimes. She called me frantic, wanting to check I was safe, and then told me that 2 nights previously, around the same time, she had similar calls, threatening to come after my brother and I. Ugh, makes me wonder what they were being targeted for. I was driving and my phone went off. I don't answer while driving. It went to voicemail. I got home and listened to the message. It was a woman in a heavy accent begging for an unintelligible name to help her. She was pleading into my voicemail, saying it wasn't long now and to please hurry. The voice faded away, almost like they slowly pulled the phone away from her head, and the line went dead. I called the number back. I was almost panicking with confusion over what was going on, but it was no longer in service. Kept me up for days. This might have been spam, but I got a voicemail from about a month ago from a local prison asking if I can accept a call from an inmate. I don't know who had my number that they thought I was gonna bail them out of jail. I think that they called me again a few minutes later. Pretty unsettling. This guy got this message and it doesn't specify if it's like a text or a call or anything, but it's like completely unsettling no matter how the means of communicating was. That's the girl? She's not that pretty, or something like that. From my ex, a while after we split. In my home at night. At an angle you could only see if you were on my balcony. First floor, so more like patio, but the look/feel was more balcony-like. I got up to turn around, heard a bang and a scurry, as I'm assuming she fled into the night. Oh, and she lived about 2.5 hours away. Yeah. I once received a message from a random number saying, how's your show? I was in fact watching TV, but just deleted it and kept on with my night. I got a text again around 10 minutes later saying, Please don't ignore me. Ignoring me makes me very angry. I started to get kind of freaked out, and then I got the last text. I'll always be watching. Look outside. And from across the street, a light comes on in an upstairs window, and I see a vague silhouette of someone waving. Long story short, this guy wasn't even living in that house. And after I called the police, I filed a restraining order, and I haven't seen the guy since. 2 a.m. Christmas morning, I got a text from a number I didn't know just saying, help me. Rang back in case it was a friend with a new number to no answer. Texted back saying, who is this? Never got a response. I received a recycled number, and the previous owner had used it everywhere, from his bank to shopping websites. So I used to get a lot of spam. I even tried to explain to the bank when they called me regarding the account. One day, someone added me on Snapchat through my phone number, and upon seeing my Snapchat story, a 35-year-old woman replied to my story of watching Star Wars by saying, I attended your funeral. That's intense. And whoever that was should have known better, for sure. I used to get calls from a random number, and the person would leave voicemails. Hi, my name. I'm gonna find you. You have to talk to me. I never found out who it was, and I never recognized the voice. It was creepy. A few weeks after moving to a new city, I got a phone call from a woman I didn't know telling me that 2 guys I had never heard of were very pissed because I had interfered with their business, and I should better watch my back. It seemed moderately absurd, but didn't seem like a prank call either. So I watched my back for a while, but nothing ever happened. Got a message from a man on LinkedIn asking if he could borrow my black leather mini skirt. I was currently wearing a black leather mini skirt. LinkedIn, of all places. You couldn't think of anything else. I think that almost makes it creepier. Was playing some CSGO. Teammates started out really nice at the start of the game. We started losing and he got really toxic. I told him to calm down or something like that, and he said, I will kill you in real life. After the game, he sent me a friend request. I accepted, expecting him to do some trash talking and call me some names. Instead, he sent me my address, my dad's full name, and my phone number. Being 16, I was terrified. This next message only included coordinates and the words, it's here. Come find it. I looked it up on Google Maps. It was a lot way to the north of the city. Needless to say, I never found out what it was. Not really a message, but freaked me out. My friend passed away. It was early Facebook days. I had requested him on Facebook before I knew he was sick. He subsequently passed before accepting. 10 years later, to the day that he passed away earlier this year, the request was accepted. We were close, and I was having a tough time in life. So weird. Very weird, but our loved ones do send us messages in interesting and unique ways. Yesterday, I wanted to create an Instagram account, and I saw that my email is already taken. I reset the password, log in, and find an empty profile. A few seconds later, I got a message from a friend I haven't spoken to in a while saying, so you want to learn how to hack? I'm still scared. I would be too. I had a stalker a couple of years back. He sent me a long, detailed text about how he would keep me in a cage and treat me / take care of me like I was a squirrel. Weird flex, but okay. Not a message, but a phone call. It was in Chinese, so this is a broken translation. It went, Dad, save me. Come save me, please. This was repeated a couple of times before I ended the call. The next one is a text message from this person's stalker. I didn't know your store was open today. It was December 26th. Most of the stores in the mall where I worked were closed due to the extended holiday for employees. This was the first time I realized my stalker knew where I worked and that he was there on that day, just walking by the store. Someone called at 2 a.m. in the morning while I was stationed in a site up in the mountains. Sounded like my dad, and all he said was, I love you, I love you. I thought it was impossible since my dad was in the hospital and unconscious. Then at 3 a.m. my brother calls crying, telling me he had to make the call for the doctors to stop resuscitating our dad. He passed away then. Not really creepy, just sad. Very sad, but always I think that our loved ones kind of try to give us that closure where they can, and that's actually a really sweet story. My pastor always gave me and my little sister the creeps. Everyone else thought he was the greatest, sweetest man, but I saw straight through his act and I stayed away. One day he texted me out of the blue saying my mom told him I needed a new dryer. He told me he had one for me and was on his way to bring it by. I personally never gave him my address, but figured my mom maybe gave it to him. A few hours after he dropped off the dryer and left, he texted me asking if I had a chance to use the dryer, did it work, okay, etc. I told him it worked great and thanked him, to which he replied, "Don't forget to check under your bed tonight." I asked why and he said, "To make sure I'm not under there." What? I promptly told my boyfriend and then blocked his number. Eventually I told my mom, then she told the deacons at church, and next thing you know, pastor and his family are moving out of state. Freaking weird, man. I was at a camping ground and I was just kind of sitting in my tent, and iOS has technology called AirDrop, which allows other iOS devices to send photos, videos, and files from each other. I'm just watching YouTube, and the next minute I receive this message that says, "Susie's iPhone wants to send you an image." And I'm not even joking. The image was a creepy picture and it has the caption, "I watch you in your sleep." And this was during the night. I was gonna press accept, but the person canceled the request before I could press it. I hope that was a sick, sick joke, but honestly, that's the first time I've ever heard of like a terrifying AirDrop story. So this message was a picture of this person drunk walking home from an unknown number, which is pretty unsettling in itself. A short one, but creepy nonetheless. And then this one is also chilling. Turn around, I'm at the end of the street. A text from a guy who was interested in me. I was walking home from work and he'd asked if I was home yet. I said no, so he drove my walk home and then texted me when he saw me. I was so creeped out. I refused the lift, to his surprise. You're smart for doing that. My wife posted this story in the Reddit paranormal thread. This happened in 2012, 2013 when we were living in an apartment in the city. My wife and I were out shopping one day and I noticed I had a missed call. Checked to see who it was from and it was from our landline. We didn't live with anyone else and my phone was brand new, so no one even had my new number yet either. I had a voicemail, so we checked that. It was just the phone hanging up. Quiet, and then the dead tone. Very weird and very creepy. So this message got forwarded to this person on social media from a girl that they knew. There was a girl who went to my high school. She was obviously interested in me, but I had friend zoned her, but found her pleasant company at least. We used to ride the bus together and socialize a bit on breaks. She'd often bring me coffee and stuff with the morning bus. Anyway, it turns out she was obsessed and would write to this other girl about her fantasies and then told her how she planned to mix a love potion into my coffee. I got forwarded all these stories, details, and plans she'd been thinking up for over a year. Quite scary stuff. When I was around 13, I got a text message saying something like, "I'm the tooth fairy, make a wish." I asked the person who they were. They kept trying to get me to tell them what I wanted. My mom and I promptly called the police. Still creeped out by it. Again, hopefully it was just a childhood prank. The last one is an intense one. I accidentally got talking to a crazy Christian chick who was engaged to get married in a few months. Her husband is a ginger and I am also. Turns out she was very into them. One day she was talking to me online while playing a modded version of the Sims video game. She popped up and said, "Hey, look what I built." She sends me a few screenshots of the game. Turns out she'd made myself and her husband in a relationship on the game. The details were scarily accurate with the face/body creation. The first screenshot I got was me in the game in a very lewd position in this game. Yes, I still have the pictures. I stopped talking to her after that. Okay, and with that, I think it is time to end this video. Thank you very much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys so very much and I will see you in my next one. Bye.